The time is 8:45. Here's the news edited by Lal Malvarachi, read by Victor Raj. Here are the headlines of the local news. Doctors warn a fourth wave of coronavirus could occur if people do not follow health guidelines properly. Children are vulnerable to the virus at present. 1,018 more persons have tested positive for coronavirus today. Government is to directly import essential food items. The 2021 GCE Ordinary Level Examination will be held in February 2022. The program to develop 100 cities at once will commence tomorrow. In foreign news, Tunisia's Prime Minister was sacked after violent COVID protests. Sports news, Japan's 13-year-old Momiji Nishida made history today by winning the first ever Olympic gold medal in women's street skateboarding. Local news in detail. The Deputy Director General of Health Services, Dr. Hemanta Hera, said that a fourth wave of corona could occur if people do not follow health laws properly. He added that only 66 people have been diagnosed with the Delta variant of the COVID-19 coronavirus, but there could be more people infected with the new variant in the community. Meanwhile, Director General of Health Services, Dr. Asera Gunawardana, said a slight increase in the number of COVID patients has been observed. However, it will not affect the capacity of the hospitals, he added. He said that number of beds required for the patients is available in hospitals. Meanwhile, doctors of the Lady Ridgeway Children's Hospital say that there is a high tendency of spreading COVID virus among children. Over 500 children are receiving treatment at the hospital. 10 have succumbed to the virus. The doctors pointed out the need of the parents to protect children from infections of this virus. The Ministry of Health reports that another 1,018 persons have tested positive for coronavirus today. This brings the total number of COVID-19 cases confirmed in the country thus far to 297,534. Presently, 24,428 infected patients are being treated at hospitals and treatment centers across the island. Meanwhile, the number of total coronavirus has reached 269,007. The government is focusing on directly importing through a state-owned company most of the essential food items currently imported by the private sector. Minister Bandula Gunawardana said accordingly, the relevant cabinet paper has already been submitted to the cabinet. The measure has been considered due to the increase in the prices of the essential food items in the market and to break the monopoly of the private sector, according to the minister. Accordingly, it has been decided to reactivate the state commercial cooperative wholesale company, which is currently proposed to be liquidated, and to import these goods through it. The government expects to import essential commodities such as sugar, chicken, coconut oil, dal, onions, and potatoes directly through the company. This news comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. Continuing with local news, Education Ministry has pushed back the 2021 GCE Ordinary Level Examination to February. Education Minister Professor J.R. Peris told reporters today that the 2021 O-levels that were supposed to be held in January 2022 will now be held the following month due to the COVID-19 situation in the country. The exam will take place from February 21st to March 3rd, he said. The ministry has also postponed two other prominent exams in the country, Advanced Levels and Grade 5 Scholarship exams, to November 2021. The program to develop 100 cities island-wide at once will commence tomorrow from Kurunegala, Hiripitiya town under the patronage of Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa. 8 cities in the Kurunegala district have been selected for the project. Development of the cities is being implemented by the Ministry of Urban Development and Housing. The project aims to achieve several targets in the President's Vistas of Prosperity Manifesto. That ends local news.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
Minister Professor G.L. Pires says that most of the teachers and non-academic staffs of the school have been vaccinated. At a media briefing held in Colombo, said that 98% of the Western province have been provided with the vaccines. 83% of the Southern province, 82% from the Bayamba and the North Central province, 79% from Central province and 62% from the North have been vaccinated. 77% of school staff have also been vaccinated so far.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
Moving on to Watchlight. The National Child Protection Authority has received 4,740 complaints against the abuse and harassment of children within the last 6 months. The NCPA said stern action will be taken against individuals who employ underage children as domestics. NCPA Chairman Muditha Vidhanapatirana said that a number of jobs that have been declared as unsafe for children would be increased up to 76, and it will become law within the next 2 months. This is for the attention of the employees and house owners who have already employed children under the age of 16 as workers in their households and businesses. That came to you on Watchlight. Moving on to world news, let's take a look at the headlines. Tunisia's Prime Minister was sacked after violent COVID protests. UN reports record civilian casualties in 2021 in Afghanistan. Canterbury Cathedral's stained glass is among the world's oldest. World news in detail. Tunisia's president has sacked the prime minister and suspended parliament after violent mass protests nationwide yesterday. Anger over the government's handling of a massive recent spike in COVID cases has added the general unrest over the nation's economic and social turmoil. President Kais Saied, who was elected in 2019, announced he was taking over. His supporters erupted in celebration, but opponents in parliament immediately accused him of staging a coup. Clashes among rival groups continued today. Afghan civilians were killed or injured at record levels in the first half of this year as violence escalated, the UN says. A new report says Afghanistan recorded more than 1,600 civilian deaths so far in 2021. That's a 47% rise compared with the time last year. And the UN warns the number of deaths could rise still further. Government forces have been fighting Taliban resurgents who now control large parts of the country. New research indicates that some stained glass windows from the Canterbury Cathedral may be among the oldest in the world. The panels depicting the ancestors of Christ have been redated using a new non-destructive technique. The analysis indicates that some of them may date back to the mid-1100s. The windows would therefore have been in place when the Archbishop of Canterbury, Thomas Becket, was killed at the cathedral in 1170. To wrap up the world news, let's take a look at the headlines once again. Tunisia's prime minister was sacked after violent COVID protests. UN reports record civilian casualties in 2021 in Afghanistan. Canterbury Cathedral stained glass is among world's oldest. That ends world news. Development News is brought to you by
Quality matters than price. So as an engineer, I recommend Melba RB500. It's made with virgin billets using the latest technology. Melba RB500, number one in Sri Lanka. Truly Sri Lankan.
the present progress of the Yali Gamata program of the Gama Samagapili Sandarak held in Mimuri is at 80%. At 85%. A progress review meeting in this regard was held at the Mimure Premier Primary School yesterday. Another 15 proposals submitted at the program are to be implemented. 1990 ambulance will also be given for the use of the people in Mimure. Measures will also be taken to modernize Hapudanawala Bridge under the 5,000 Bridges Construction Program. That came to you on Development News. Development News was brought to you by
Quality matters than price. So as an engineer, I recommend Melba RB500. It's made with virgin billets using the latest technology. Melba RB500, number one in Sri Lanka. Truly Sri Lankan.
Moving on to sports news. At the age of just 13, Japan's Momiji Nishii made history on today by winning the first ever Olympic gold medal in women's skateboarding at the Games in Tokyo. Nishii topped the youthful podium with Raíssa Leal of Brazil, also 13, taking the silver medal, and Japan's Funa Nakayama, 16, winning bronze. With an average age of 14 years and 191 days, it is the youngest individual podium in the history of the Olympic Games. The youngest ever Olympic champion is Marjorie Yestrain, who won the springboard title at the 1936 Berlin Games at the age of 13 years and 267 days, just 63 days younger than Nishii. That came to you on Sports News. Contributory deposit of 1,000 rupees from NSB when your child enters grade 1. Open a Hapan Children's Service account for your kid today. Higher interest. Conditions apply. Business News. Sponsored by National Savings Bank. The safest place for your money. The Consumer Affairs Authority has issued an extraordinary gazette notification setting a district-based maximum retail price for the domestic liquefied petroleum gas LPG cylinder of 18 litres, 9.6 kilograms, with effect from yesterday. Therefore, the price of a 18-litre of gas cylinder in Colombo and Gampa is at 1,150 rupees. The price will be changed from district to district. The price of a gas cylinder in Jaffna is at 1,259 rupees. Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money. Contributory deposit of 1,000 rupees from NSB when your child enters grade 1. Open a Hapan Children's Service account for your kid today. Higher interest. Conditions apply.
Economic news. Courtesy of
I bought my daughter a laptop for her work by managing my finances. Whatever the expenses may be, I can't afford to miss out on life's special moments like her birthday or our anniversary. So you need to invest to make your family's future flourish.
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibilities. That's why we promise to give you the best returns and guarantee on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act number 42 of 2011.
State Minister Shehan Semasinga says that the manufacture sector should be strengthened in order to increase the economy of the country. Therefore, the government has initiated Saubhagya Dakma Village Production Program. Kahatagas Digiliya Nekatuweva village was developed as an agri-village at the cost of 10 million rupees. 20 such villages will be established in the Anuradhapura district as well.
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibilities. That's why we promise to give you the best returns and guarantee on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act number 42 of 2011.
Weather report was sponsored by
Dialogue, in partnership with the Ministry of Education, introduces Nanasa, a trilingual educational mobile app with video-based lessons for grade 1 to A-levels. Now your child can study with ease on your mobile with no subscription fee.
The Met Department says showers of thunder showers will occur at times in western, sub-government, central provinces and in Gaul and Mathura districts. Several special showers will occur in northwestern province. Fairly strong winds up to 50 km per hour and gusting up to 60 km per hour can be expected in western slope of the central hills, north central and northwestern provinces and in Hambantota and Trincomalee districts.
Weather report was sponsored by
Dialogue, in partnership with the Ministry of Education, introduces Nanasa, a trilingual educational mobile app with video-based lessons for grade 1 to A-levels. Now your child can study with ease on your mobile with no subscription fee.
A recap of the headlines to conclude the night news on Radio Sri Lanka. Doctors warn a fourth wave of corona could occur if people do not follow health guidelines properly. Children are vulnerable to the virus at present. 1,018 more persons have tested positive for coronavirus today. Government is to directly import essential food items. The 2021 GC Ordinary Level Examination will be held in February 2022. The program to develop 100 cities at once will commence tomorrow. In foreign news, Tunisia's Prime Minister was sacked after violent COVID protests. Sports news, Japan's 13-year-old Momiji Nishiya made history today by winning the first ever Olympic gold medal in women's street skateboarding. That ends the night news on Radio Sri Lanka.